Hello everyone, my name is Joshua. This is the 90th video on my video journal series. Today's date is Saturday, the 9th of May 2026. How's everyone been? I've been pretty good, thank you. And today I'm going to go over my top 5 favorite movies. Now, obviously this list is subject to change. Who knows, maybe by the end of this series my top 5 will be completely different, but I'll be basically going over why I like those movies and why they're in my top 5. And spoiler alert, they're all old movies, alright? Not to say I don't like new movies, but I haven't been watching a whole lot of new movies. And I'm not really a movie critic or anything. I'm pretty much like a boomer when it comes to movies. So, yeah, uh, that's my little, I guess, caution there. But yeah, this is my, I guess, top 5 favorite movies. So number 5, I'll have to put Taxi Driver, the one with Robert De Niro. That movie is perfection, and obviously, in terms of, I guess, a critical score, it'll be like number 1. But in terms of my enjoyment, and I guess compared to like all the other movies that are on my list, like I enjoy it. Um, Obviously, all I have to say is like basically praise about Taxi Driver. The acting, directing, and the fact that it's like 50 years old, but it still holds up very well. Um, I love the gritty themes of it. Robert De Niro's acting was just absolutely phenomenal in that movie, and Martin Scorsese's directing, so like top notch, and even like the jazz score. I forgot who did the jazz score, but that was wow. That's whenever I think of Taxi Driver, I just think of the jazz score. All right, I just think of the background music and hearing that at night, just a whole nother atmosphere. But yeah, basically, if I had to rank all my favorite movies, in terms of like, I guess, a critical score, because mind you, I do also like quote unquote like bad movies, even though none of the movies in my top 5 are necessarily considered quote unquote bad, but maybe like top 10 and top 20. Like I like Looney Tunes Back in Action. That isn't in my top 5, by the way, but a lot of people consider that to be a bad movie, but I like it. So in terms of enjoyability, that's what I kind of rank my top 5, just in terms of how much I enjoyed it, not in terms of like, I guess, a critical lens. So that's another bit you got to consider. Yeah, but like with Taxi Driver, I enjoyed it. I think I've watched it like once or twice. So obviously I'm not like a fanatic or anything, but when I enjoy something, um, you know, um, it stays in my head. I can only like I've most probably watched, you know, some of my top 5 favorite movies, maybe like less than around 5 times, but I remember it vividly. And it's not like you have to watch a movie 100 times to enjoy it. You just watch it maybe once or twice, and it really sticks with you. And that Taxi Driver was one of those movies, which shows how effective it was in my brain. Um, and obviously, I'll just be talking about, I guess, my personal enjoyment of these movies. I won't be doing like full on critical analysis or explaining the plot or anything. I'll just take tidbits of what I liked. Oh yeah, with Taxi Driver though, yet again, I just love the environment of that movie. It's set in 1970s New York. It's very gritty, slimy atmosphere. Maybe slimy wasn't the best word to use, but it was a very rundown place. Um, and just like yeah, the cinematography, the plot just really kept me on edge the entire time. Um, Especially with the ending and all the themes that you can like really pick out of that movie. So yeah, that's why it's gonna be number 5. Just because I'll love to watch that movie again, but just look at the backgrounds, because the background is just like a whole nother aspect of that movie. Just the environment. The music, the score. I just like to watch that movie again, but pay attention to all those small details, because I've only maybe watched it once or twice. Yeah, so number four would have to be Rush Hour 2. Now, quote unquote, this is not the most, I guess, um, most critically acclaimed film on my list, but I enjoyed it. I've watched Rush Hour 2 a few times, the one with Jackie Chan and I think it's Chris Tucker. Yeah, it's just hands down hilarious. Like I've watched the first Rush Hour movie. The first one is okay. Like in terms of the plot, I think it's a little bit better than the second one, but the first one is a lot more serious. The first one's a lot more serious. The second Rush Hour movie, I think it's got like a good blend between plot and comedy. Like the story's interesting, but like there are a lot more funnier scenes in Rush Hour 2, and a lot more memorable scenes in Rush Hour 2 than there is 1 and 3. I'll maybe dip into 3 later, even though it's not on my list. In fact, I don't really like Rush Hour 3 as much, but Rush Hour 2 is like pretty much the peak of the series, if you ask me, in terms of like enjoyability of the films. And yeah, just like Rush Hour 2 is just like hands down hilarious, and I could rewatch that movie like 100 times over, and I wouldn't get bored of it still. And I think I've watched that movie on my flight to New Zealand. I tried doing all the Rush Hour movies. I think I got up to like halfway through Rush Hour 3, um, but then like obviously the plane landed, so yeah, I think I did Rush Hour 1 on my way to New Zealand, and then on my way back I watched Rush Hour 2 in the first half of Rush Hour 3. So yeah, Rush Hour 2, very funny movie. Yet again, it's just like obviously it's the buddy cop duo movie, but like the casting is great, you know. And it's just like, oh, it's so. I recommend you watch that movie. You know, you don't even have to watch the first one. You can watch the second one, and it'll still like give you all the laughs that you need. But yeah, Rush Hour 2 is just, it's what I think it's the one of the only movies I've watched where the sequel still holds up, and they incorporate like a good blend of humor and action and a coherent plot, and it's got a lot of memorable scenes, um, um, man. And I guess like what was my favorite quote from that movie? God, it's been a few months since I watched it, but I like that end scene where they're like having that like thing at the casino. They're trying to like Chris Tucker's trying to like distract the guards, or at least like Chris Tucker's character is trying to like distract the guards, and um, Jackie Chan's character tries to like sneak in at the back to steal like these money plates. I think it was, so then they can like print more money. I think that was the plot of the film. My mind's a little bit rusty, but you know, um, yeah, I like that like final casino scene. And I don't want to spoil it, but that end scene where they're like jumping out, that was like fantastic as well. So yeah, that's why Rush Hour 2 is going in number 4 for me. I think it's a worthy successor. And just one bit on Rush Hour. I've watched the first half of Rush Hour 3. So I haven't watched the entirety of Rush Hour 3, but you know, there are some like pretty good jokes in it and all that, but like even from what I've watched, it does feel a little bit generic. It kind of loses the charm of 1 and 2, if you ask me. It just feels like a generic spy movie. Um, but Rush Hour 3, I guess, has like some of the best jokes in the series. One with that French nun is like, I recommend. I'll say it's like one of the best jokes in the series. That one with the French nun. Um, but apart from that, yeah, Rush Hour 3. Look, I think it's okay from what I've watched, but it just I think it just loses its charm. That's my opinion, at least. But yeah, Rush Hour 2, at number 4, and now number 3 is going to be 1983's Scarface, the one with Al Pacino. I've watched Scarface a few times, and it is, what can I say? It's just a movie where I watched it for the first time and it really like stuck with me. I remembered it like vividly, the entire movie. I could recount the entire plot of that movie despite only having watched it once, and knowing nothing else about it. Yeah, like Al Pacino's performance is legendary. And I guess like that's the reason why I like old movies is that I can follow the plot a lot easier than newer movies. So maybe that's why I watch a lot of old movies. But yeah, Scarface. The score as well, the themes in that movie. I guess about power and the American dream, and um, the world is yours. All those I guess quotes and themes really like I guess stuck with me, and um, exploration of I guess Tony Montana as the quote unquote anti-hero is like weird though because he's not like a typical sense of a hero in that he like saves the day or whatever. It's like a man trying to climb his ranks through the drug empire essentially, and I guess that makes him a sort of like anti-hero archetype, but one that can like somewhat um like build character, and maybe anti-hero isn't the right word, but that's the first thing that comes up to my mind. But you know it's displayed as a guy who wants to achieve the American dream, and in some way I guess it could be relatable to audiences in that way, achieving the quote unquote American dream, but certainly not starting your own drug cartel. I'll tell you what, that won't be in it. But yeah, a lot of twists and turns in that movie. Um, Yet again, the soundtrack was amazing. Performance top tier. I can't really have anything like bad to say about it. There was a video game that released for Scarface on the PlayStation 2 and other platforms called Scarface: The World Is Yours. I haven't played it, but maybe I should get it on PS2. But it's like a GTA style game where you play as Tony Montana, and it's non-canon to the movie, but it's in yet again I don't want to spoil the ending for those who haven't watched it, but it's a continuation of the original film despite being not canon. Um, and yeah, like I'll definitely love to play that game, give my thoughts on it. Um, but yeah, um, obviously, I think there should be like more Scarface games. There should be like a new Scarface game, maybe like a remake of The World Is Yours, or maybe like an entirely new one. I think it'll be very interesting to expand the Scarface universe because realistically, there's only one movie, the video game, which the video game released like 20 years after the movie. That's like pretty, yeah, it's pretty wild to think that. But um, yeah, I like to see more. Maybe not like a sequel to Scarface, the original movie, not the original like 1940s one. The 80s one, I think is great as a standalone film. Um, I don't think Hollywood should ever do a remake of that movie. You can do a remaster of the game or a remake of the game. I'm all supportive of that, but don't make a remake to Pacino's Scarface because the original 80s one is just perfect. You can't top it. It's like if you try to remake Taxi Driver, which was at number 5 on my list, it would just lose its charm. The original 70s Taxi Driver was how it was meant to be. Same with like the Back to the Future trilogy, because the Back to the Future trilogy should really be in my honorable mentions. It's most probably at like number 6, but if I had to pick one movie, it'll most likely be Back to the Future. Man, it's really hard, but um, it's really hard. I most probably have to pick the first one. I love number 2. I love number 3, but if I had to watch one Back to the Future movie again and again and again, it would be a close tie between 1 and 2. No hate to 3, but I love 3 as like a standalone movie. But 1 I think is like the one I can most probably rewatch. Um, so yeah, maybe Back to the Future Part 1 would be like number 6 on my list. But anyway, so where was I? Yeah, number 3. So basically, yeah, like I said, why did I mention Back to the Future? Well, it's like how the Back to the Future trilogy, they're not going to make a fourth movie because you know, obviously, I think um, the reason why is because yeah, it would just pretty much ruin the franchise. Back to the Future already ended well with Part 3. The ending to Part 3 was fine enough. It was a nice ending. Why they gotta ruin it with a fourth movie? So yeah, that's why I think you know, I'll actually be against if Hollywood ever decides to, I guess, remake Pacino's Scarface or De Niro's Taxi Driver or even Back to the Future Part 4, same with Toy Story. Like, I've only watched Toy Story 1 through 3. I've never watched Toy Story 4, or I'm not going to watch the upcoming 5 as well, because I reckon the original Toy Story trilogy, the first three movies, are peak. They're very good. I haven't watched Toy Story 4. Maybe it's a good movie. I don't know. But I feel like they really ended the series well with part 3. Why did they have to make a fourth movie? That sounds very controversial, and it's going to be controversial. But, it's like, okay, well, I guess, if you don't want to watch it, then, um, don't watch it, sort of thing. Don't let it, I guess, impede on your enjoyment of Toy Story 1, 2, and 3. But, it's just like, you know, I think it gets stale after a while, and I kind of like just saying the original Toy Story trilogy, but now you gotta say Toy Story 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, like, so that's why I don't think there should be a remake, or I guess, like I said, I like a continuation of the Scarface universe, but I like that to be like non-canon. That's what I meant. I like to be like non-canon sort of thing. Maybe you can do like a spin-off of Scarface, but not like a remaster or you know, anything like that. Or not like a remaster for a film, but not like a full-on remake. Maybe like a non-canon sort of thing. But anyway, so number two will be Urusei Yatsura 2, Beautiful Dreamer. I know, I'm gonna mention Yatsura 2, but the second Urusei Yatsura movie, I like it. For those who don't know, it's a Japanese animated series created by Rumiko Takahashi in the 70s, but in 1984, um, it received a movie adaptation, and it's not quite like the other Yatsura movies, 1 through 6, or 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, I should say. I should maybe do like a whole nother video on it, but it's very different to the manga that it's based on, and just the characters, the art design, and all that really stuck with me. I think it was my first exposure to the Yatsura series, and yeah, I just really love that movie. I mean, the copy that I have a DVD copy with English subtitles, but I also got a Japanese Blu-ray of it, which doesn't have any English subtitles, but um, it is what it is, and yeah, sorry I'm going a little bit brief here, but I want to get this video out on time. Maybe I should have started a little bit earlier. But yeah, yeah, to I think it's really like psychological, its themes. It's almost like it's basically a time loop movie, like Groundhog Day, where these bunch of high schoolers are forced to relive the exact same day of their lives until the cycle's broken. It actually released before Groundhog Day, obviously 1984. One of the earliest time loop movies, I'm pretty sure, at least animated movies. But yeah, it came out before like Inception and Groundhog Day. Yeah, and I just really like it. You don't have to be a fan of, I guess, anime or the Yatsura series, but no, it's a very interesting movie, and it's a lot more, I guess, mature and darker in some aspects than a lot of movies on this list. I mean, maybe except Taxi Driver and Scarface, but like, you know, I guess in comparison to the other Yatsura movies as well, it's pretty like dark and a little bit serious in some aspects. And yeah, I just really like the movie, the characters, art design, all celluloid animation, all hand drawn. Um, you know, I kind of miss that era of anime. But anyway, number one. Number one is South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. Yep, I love that movie. It's my number one favorite movie, at least right now. But most likely it will be for like a long, long time, because I never had any other movie that's cracked me up as much as South Park the movie, which released in 1999. Not even Rush Hour 2, has made me laugh more times than I guess South Park, the movie, because it's one of those movies that like I watched when I was younger, and I just found like piss hilarious. I'll rewatch it, and I got the DVD to it. But I remember watching clips of it on YouTube before I watched like the full movie, and yeah, it's just like so funny. It's about obviously the South Park boys who go to see the Terrence and Phillip movie. Then one of their friends, Kenny, dies, and then the mothers are outraged that Kenny tried to light his ass on fire like what Terrence and Phillip did in the movie, and he dies. Obviously, Kenny dies in the movie, and the mothers start a campaign that later leads towards entire war being declared on Canada. Um, and yeah, it is just a wild movie, but it's just so hilarious at the same time, and it's also musical. Its music score is fabulous. Obviously, you don't even have to be a fan of South Park to watch a movie. You could just like that sort of humor, and it'll automatically resonate. And I think the film resonates a lot today about like censorship and I guess violence in media, which is like its key theme, sort of. Or not even violence. It's just like I guess how the media like portrays violence and um, I guess humor and all of that. But yeah, I think it's a very contemporary movie in today's time, hidden beneath all the fart jokes and all that. But it's really a fun movie. I'll 100% recommend if you're above the age of, I guess, like 15 or 18, whatever age you're legally required to watch not only that movie, but all these movies, because some of them are really dark and they go into like very, I guess, deep themes, mature themes. I'll definitely recommend if you're on viewing age um, to watch them. And, I think that's going to be my top five. Obviously, I didn't go too depth into these movies because, yet again, I'm not like a movie critic or anything. I'm actually pretty bad with movies. But I just explained why I sort of like these movies. I identified what's in my top five and honorable mention. And I felt like before I end this video, I should really like clarify what I meant about the whole, I guess, Scarface thing and Taxi Driver. Is that like obviously, um, you know, I I like to see more I guess non-canon stuff out of that uh, franchise, out of those franchises, like Scarface and Taxi Driver, maybe like a comic book or maybe like a I don't know TV series or mini series or maybe short film. But I think in terms of canon stuff, I think the stories are completely fine. Um, they already had like suitable endings, if you ask me. That's why I kind of had like an issue with them making another Toy Story movie. Like, I wouldn't mind if they made like a TV series or mini series or a non-canon spin-off. But to me, whenever I watch Toy Story 3, the ending's not going to be like the same, if you ask me. Um, and I guess that's if I watch Toy Story 4, but you know, I think Toy Story 3 had like a very tearful ending, like one of the best endings in modern cinema, if you ask me. It really teared me up, but I think some of the magic goes away if you realize, oh yeah, there's gonna be another Toy Story film. Um, you know, I guess it's like the art of an ending, and some of these movies I discussed, like Scarface and Taxi Driver, they had like really, I guess, noteworthy endings. Um, Same with Back to the Future Part 3. I mean, everyone knows the ending where like the got that futuristic flying train that like zooms off. Um, you know, Yatsura 2's beautiful ending is just like a credit scene. Um, because obviously they're going to make films after that, so they're like, oh yeah, this is not going to be the final in the series. And South Park's movie ending ends with like a musical score, but apparently it was supposed to be the end of a series, the South Park movie. Um, it was originally going to be the end, but then they kept on renewing more seasons. So yeah, basically, I don't have an issue with, I guess, if they made non-canon and additional stuff to the universes of Scarface and Taxi Driver, because I really love those movies. But I think if you try and alter the endings of those movies, or make like a continuation where it's like, hey, this is not the end of the story, um, can a little bit ruin it. And who knows? Maybe someday I'll watch Toy Story 4 and 5. If you like obviously Toy Story 5 hasn't released yet, but it's gonna release soon. And obviously, like feel free to disagree with me and all that. Mind you, my opinions are like pretty. I don't want to say shit, but like they're, I guess, subjective. Subjective. You know, I'm not expecting everyone to love these movies. But power to you. If you like Toy Story 4, then go watch it. I mean, nothing's stopping you. I think on IMDb it's got pretty good reviews, and I wouldn't say it's a horrible movie or anything, but I really just loved the ending to Toy Story 3, and I kind of like wanted to end there at the franchise, if you know what I mean. But anyway, that's my ramblings. I'd like to hear your favorite movies in the comments down below. And sorry if this was a short video, but I really got to get this out on time. Um, and I guess I'll leave you with one wise quote of the day. And now I was going to do a Scarface quote, then I realized, yeah, that's going to be too edgy. um, I guess, oh man, I could really say the world is yours. Screw it, I'll say the world is yours. Don't take that in the Scarface context, but say, you know, the earth is yours in the sense that you're free to roam it. I'll highly recommend if you ever get the time to travel, even just to another state or town. Um, where you live. If you can travel overseas, do it. If you can travel to the neighboring town, do it. Even if it's just down the block, it will be a good walk. But yeah, the world is, I guess, yours, but it's also a little bit of ours. Responsibility, responsibility to care for the environment, care for one another. But I guess um, you know, humanity can have like a very, you know, strong influence on how the world is formed, and stuff like the environment, the economy. Um, and the point I'm saying is, you, the earth is yours to roam. You can learn a lot about the world, and you can help change the world to be a better place. Um, you know, through your expertise, through your passion, and through exploration. Through exploration, you learn a lot, and with that knowledge from traveling and talking to others and gaining knowledge from others, I think we can use it to make the world a better place. I know it sounds super generic, but I just had to put in that Scarface quote in there. The world is yours. That does not mean start your own narcotics empire. Do not do that. It means that Um, I think that quote was like from Pan Am, that defunct airline. Um, yeah, the Earth is yours. Uh, Everyone leads their own lives, and we can use our skills and communication as human beings to make the world a better place. Anyway, that's all I have to say, and I guess I'll see you all next time. Bye. See ya. Take care.